I will begin the questioning by talking a little bit about the issue of shipbuilding. Admiral Busby, small shipyards, in addition to the big ones throughout the country, like the Catalyst Marine Engineering in Seward, Alaska, or Vigor, Alaska's shipyard in Ketchikan, are a vital part of local communities, but also play an important part for our overall economic and national security. Can you speak about the impact that increased funding has had on the ability of the Small Shipyards Grant Program to meet some of these needs?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for your question. That's a great program. It helps many shipyards every year. We have, I think, last year we had $20 million to disperse. We were able to help 29 different small shipyards.
Is that enough? Do you look at trying to increase that, or is that the number that you think is appropriate?
Well, we're grateful for whatever the Congress passes to us. I would tell you that
that's usually an easy question.
We have a lot more applications for those grants than we're able to actually support.
Okay. Admiral Schultz, I know that you and I appreciate the great work you're doing for the Coast Guard, and I commend you for it. I think you're doing a fantastic job. I appreciate your visits to Alaska, and I think our state has benefited from those. You know, I know you visited the shipyard in Ketchikan and seen the firsthand the great work that's being done up there. We had a provision in the last year's Coast Guard bill that tried to address this issue that you and I have been working on for quite a while, which is it's a pretty good-sized shipyard that has a huge impact on Southeast Alaska. Actually makes financial sense for the Coast Guard to do a lot of its maintenance up there as opposed to sending ships all the way back down to California. There's this regulation, as you know, that we've been looking at that has an unintended consequence on that shipyard. We had language in the Coast Guard bill last year that we thought addressed this. Evidently, I was just recently informed that some of the DHS bureaucrats or whatever didn't see it that way, which is an enormous frustration of mine. You get language put in that members of Congress agreed to and pass, and now we have the bureaucracies coming back and saying, well, maybe it doesn't work. Can I get a commitment from you, and I know I'm going to get it because you've already committed to work with my staff and DHS. I will be hauling into my office who's ever making these decisions saying, really? We changed the law and you're still not good to go with it? To once again put this issue to rest, which makes strategic sense for the Coast Guard, for the cost of maintenance for your biggest district, District 17, and yet somehow the bureaucracy here in D.C. wants to continue to drag its feet on that. Can I get your commitment on that, Admiral?
Chairman, absolutely. I believe, you're right. We did recently get guidance from the department that says that language did not get us there. You have my commitment to work with your staff on the language. Staying consistent with the small set-aside rules that exist today, I anticipate we will have some work with geographic restriction in this calendar year 19 that the Alaska shipyard should be able to be very competitive, compete for if they solicit. But you have my absolute commitment to continue to work on language, sir, that accomplishes the committee's objectives here.
Thank you. It's just a huge frustration of mine, and more importantly, my constituents.